Welcome back to Rockstar 101. His name is Brandon. He's the DJ.
I didn't realize we were starting. Yeah. His name is Shim. He's the Rockstar. Class is in session. That was our vocal warm-ups. Like you always hear like the me me mommy mo.
That was Brandon's vocal warm-up. Mine is a me me mommy. Yeah, sounds more like you're waking up from
in my throat.
It's more like you're waking up from a bad dream where a bear was chasing you and you're so.
All right, we got some things we got to get to today. First and foremost, we got to thank our new sponsor, or supporter, I should say. We have Victoria Kelman, we have Taryn Weiniger, and now we have Veronica Flores. And if you want to be a supporter of this podcast, you can head on over to anchor.fm/Rockstar101. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can just click the link down below. Jazz hands. You can click the link down below to go check out the Anchor page if you want to be a supporter of this podcast. I do have to remind you of Beard Struggle, by the way. You notice how it's looking very nice right now?
Struggle
it's
is
very
real.
Prim and proper. That's courtesy of the Beard Struggle. And if you want a discount on arguably the best beard products, just go to thebeardstruggle.com and type in code Brandalorian if you would like to get a discount on the products. I use the oils and the shampoos and stuff, and I'm telling you, it's the only stuff that doesn't make me like my skin break out. The other ones, you know how you get like right here, and it's not a good look.
You know what I can't wait for? I can't wait for the day when a sponsor actually comes to us and offers us money for you to say shit like that.
Well, you know, if I like a product,
I know it's genuine. Most people will just say, "Hey, so whenever I have erectile dysfunction, this is what I use," and they just because they paid me $50,000.
You actually use this stuff. Dysfunction ad.
I want money. I want that fucking money.
I want money and a hot penis.
So what's the question today? What's the question of this podcast?
Well, before we get to the actual question, we had a quick correction here. Over on your YouTube channel, we had the Dead Man Fan 09. He commented on the last video that we did because we were talking about the greatest lead singers, or vocalists, I should say. And he said, I clicked on this video in hopes of hearing Adam Gontier or a 3 Days Grace reference. Ended up getting a non-point reference, too. I love it here. Adam is in St. Asonia, not asking Alexandria, LOL. And I for some reason, I make that mistake.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I don't know why. I know that he's in St. Asonia, but for some strange reason, that's one of those brain farts that I make so damn frequent. T.A. is now in St. Asonia. And I'll get that list. By the way, I'm up to like 130-something vocalists on that list. I got to figure out what the hell I'm going to do there. But that will eventually be up. It's going to be a thing. It will soon be a thing that leaves my brain.
I think it'll be good. It's good content for us on the weekly to be like, okay, where is it at? Who won? Why? Good. And it's content. It's something people are interested in.
Yeah, and I got to figure out where I'm going to cut it off. What are the first round matchups going to be? How long is each round going to last? Like, how long are you going to get to vote? Are we going to do it like 3 days? Is it going to be a week? It's just
3 days, Grace.
There's a lot of stuff rattling around up there.
Yeah,
you know. But anyway, are you ready for the
place to go alone? Let's do it.
Are you ready for the question of the day?
Let's do it.
How do you ruin Disneyland for your child?
Boom. Let's go.
Because I did it.
Yeah.
I did it.
Because there's so many ways.
Awful.
There's so many ways to do it.
Awful.
You don't feel, or do you really feel awful, or is there a little bit of satisfaction? Okay, tell me what happened.
No, I legitimately do, because this is something that I have a massive problem, and I made the mistake. Because for me, when you take your kid to Disneyland, Disney World, any sort of a theme park, any sort of a park in general, they have that first time, or really up until the magic is ruined, where they know, oh, there's things behind there pulling the strings, or they know that certain things, which, by the way, if you have kids listening to this podcast, they shouldn't be anyway, because what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, fuck, shit.
But it's like, there was a story that I have from almost 20 years ago. I was in Disneyland with my family, and my cousins were littler. I want to say one of them was around 8 and one was around 5. And we were about to get on Star Tours. And I'm getting them hyped up, man. I'm like, we're going to go into space. This is going to be awesome. Like, this is the coolest ride here. Getting them all ready. And you could see they were a little bit nervous. Were they like, are we really going into space? And I'm like, yeah, it's going to be so sweet. We're going to go into space. And their mom jumped in, and she was like, well, it's actually all fake. It's just a screen, and it's just the room moving.
Fuck.
And my heart just goes, and I was like, oh my God. And I was pissed. And I was legitimately pissed off. So we went on the ride, and when the family got done, I just went off on my own.
Just to blow
I told my dad. I told my dad. I'm like, whatever you guys go do, I'm going somewhere else because I'm pissed right now. Because she just took that experience away from them.
Totally.
And my uncle kind of picked up on me being upset, and he even pulled me aside, and he was like, hey, like I understand that you're upset because of this, but you just have to know that, one of the reasons she did that is she was worried about nightmares and things like that, which now as a parent, I understand more.
Yeah.
But it still bugs me that you would do that. You know what I mean? So
I think the balance the balance you have to strike. I was thinking the same thing when you just said it. I don't think I would do that to my kids unless they were like past the hump of, okay, they're still scared over this stuff. They need to get past it. But originally you just say, no, it's 100% real. Fucking hold my hand the whole time. I'll be right here, and get scared and cuddle me and you'll be sweet, but enjoy the ride. But don't be like, nothing's real. Everything's false. Everyone dies.
Yeah, like that. Like the way it was handled for me, it was like, okay, there could have been a better way.
Yeah.
Better way to do that. But it's that, she's the parent in that situation, and she's more than welcome to handle that however she chooses.
Yeah.
But man, I'm telling you, I was pissed.
Yeah.
So now fast forward 20 years later, I've got a kid. We've been to Disneyland twice.
Okay.
And my kid, for some reason, she went to Disneyland one time before I was in the picture. I got into the picture when she was 5. She went once when she was 4 with her mom and her aunt. It's my sister-in-law.
Right.
And then each time she's gone, it's almost like my kid has gotten more terrified of the rides. It's like the fear is getting worse, if that makes sense. Yeah. I'm not sure how that's possible, but that's happening. Like my wife told me that the first time when they were there, they went on Big Thunder Mountain, and our kid didn't have any issues with it. Now when we take her, she's screaming the entire time.
I know why that happens.
Tell me.
The reason that happens is because up until a kid is 5 years old, they don't really understand the concept of detachment. They start to really understand the concept of detachment around about 5 years old. And that is that, like, there is no real fear of death. They don't understand the concept of death and real danger and real pain. But once they get to over 5, they start to realize, oh, I can get hurt. And there are times when mommy and daddy aren't around, like when they scrape their knee at school or whatever, and mommy and daddy don't come get them for 2 or 3 hours. They have to get through it, and they have to develop mechanisms. And fear is the primary instinctive mechanism to handle that. It's your first thing that you go, how do I protect myself against this? Tiny little things. But once you get to 6 and 7, you're like, oh, something bad could actually happen at any time. So when you're placed in a situation where there's all this stimulation and all these possible things that can go wrong, you think about it differently. You go, oh, well, what if something goes wrong? And you get scared. Whereas when you're 5, you're just like, nothing bad happens. I'm 5. I don't understand. So when they're that young, I remember that stuff used to happen to me. I have memories of listening to music and seeing movies and watching things and being like, oh, it's red. There's lots of red there. And then when I was like 7,
not thinking that it's knowing it's blood.
Yeah. And then when I'm 6, when I'm 7, I'm like, oh, I remember seeing this. Boom. Oh shit, that guy just got shot. Because my dad was a fucking sicko and used to show me films like The Godfather when I was like 7 and 8. And there'd be these scenes that he'd forget to fast forward through, and I'd go, oh shit, what's all that blood? Because I knew what blood was. So that's kind of where it comes from.
Okay, interesting side note here. And I don't know if we brought this up on the podcast, because I know we've talked about it on the morning show. Godfather, are you a fan or no?
Big fan.
Okay, because I can't stand it.
Love it. You are dead to me.
Okay. What'd you say?
You are dead to me, son. Dead to
me. Well, that's for another day. We'll discuss that.
Okay.
So anyway, here's how I ruined Disneyland for my kid. We even before the lockdown, we would sit and we would watch the rides. We would watch people who would, go through the rides, whether it's the slow ones. And it's kind of like being able to experience the park. It's even something I posted on Reddit. I think it was with my old account, but it was how to experience a Disney park during COVID. And basically what you can do is you can still go onto your phone. The maps are still there. Obviously, this is when they were all closed. There was no ride times or anything like that. And what you could do is you act like you're walking through the park, and then you pick a ride, and then you YouTube that ride, and you can watch it on your TV. And then you pick another ride, and then you go to that ride, and you basically are going through the park virtually at that point.
That's a good idea.
So we would do that, and then it always comes up with suggestions. Some of the suggestions are Disney fails, which are hilarious sometimes, because most of them are Have you ever seen the one of, I think it's Dopey? They're on the steamboat during Fantasmic, and so there's 2 levels, and he's like this, but he steps off and he slides, and he actually falls off the edge and lands like right on top of Chip and Dale.
Oh shit!
Oh, it's hilarious, dude. Look it up. If you're watching this, go Google that. I think it's just I think it's Dopey. Dopey falls, and it's hilarious. And those are the things that we kind of like watching because they're kind of funny. Like sometimes like an eye pops out, or like their head rolls off, or things like that. Obviously, that aren't supposed to happen, but it's still a little bit comical. There's scarier ones where they have like the dragon Maleficent when she turns into the dragon and it actually shoots fire during the parade. That caught on fire one time. It's like, just gigantic flames everywhere.
That would have been awesome.
So
awesome.
one of the fails that happened was with the new Star Wars ride, the Smuggler's Run, that you're supposed to be in the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
And the fail was the ride crashed in the middle of one of the runs. So in front of you, it's a computer screen, right?
Right.
And it shows that it's just a computer screen. And they're going through and they're showing you how, well, this is where we would normally have the city, but it's not rendered right now. And so all you have is the ground. And so they're explaining it. And my kid picked up on it.
Oh.
And all of a sudden she goes, I thought we were going into space. And I felt dead inside. I legitimately felt dead inside because I'm like, I just ruined Disneyland for my child.
Yeah,
like,
not just a ride, the whole experience.
Because when we would go on Star Tour, because we've never done the Smuggler's Run, that hasn't been built since we've gone back, or we haven't gone back since it's been built. But we've done Star Tours, and we had her like convinced that we were going into space, and in that moment, I'm like, oh my God. I feel like such an a-hole father.
But it wasn't on purpose.
There was a band that had a song
shut
like
up,
that.
Man, shut up.
Oh, look what I did!
Look what I did!
Look what I did! Oh, look what I did! Oh, sweet Jesus, look what I did! That joke is what you call an odd one.
Oh, no, we're not going down this rabbit hole. So, but it wasn't your fault. You didn't do it on purpose. You stumbled into this thing that was a fail.
It just came up, and I'm like, how the F did I not think of that might happen? And it happens. I'm hoping, I'm praying that her lack of attention span has already forgotten it, but I don't think it has. And I feel horrible.
I think that here's the thing. I'll give you an example. You can overcompensate. You can reverse it. Okay, I'll give you an example of what happened to me as a kid. And this will make you laugh too, because it is very funny. When I was about 5, right? So when I was a kid, my mum bailed when I was about 1. And so I was with my dad from 2 onwards. And from about 5, I started going to visit my mum up in Brisbane, which is a plane flight. So they'd pop me on a plane, fly up. She'd be at the gate. They'd walk
by
me
yourself?
out. Yeah. My dad would walk me on, stewardess, put me in the seat, and then stewardess walks me out and puts me in my mum's hand. And then they did do that back in the day when you're allowed to do that. So anyway, point being, I was alone with my mum for a week at a time or 2 over school holidays once a year or so. It was Christmas holidays. So I came back from one of those holidays, and the first thing that my dad and my godfather Max said to me was, "Oh, are you ready for Christmas? Santa Claus got a lot of toys for you." By the way, spoiler alert for anyone who is got a kid, turn it off right now. Right now. Immediately. So my father and my godfather said, "Are you ready for Christmas? Santa Claus got a lot of toys for you." And I looked up at my dad and was like, "There is no Santa Claus. You lied." And he was like, "What are you talking about?" And I said, "My mom told me the truth, that Santa Claus is fake and that you just sold out the whole fucking Christmas story. Sold out the whole thing at some point and apparently I was just, they said that I left a boy and I came back like I was a teenager. Like my attitude, my face, my whole way of walking, everything was like fucking angry teenager vibe. Like I was like, the world is fucking bullshit. And I'm 5, right? And so they were beyond livid as far as I can tell. They were like, this is just fuck this bitch. Can't believe she fucking did. Number one, you did it to him. And number two, you did it to us. You shuffle him back to Sydney and we got to fucking deal with him. So they hired a friend who played Santa Claus because they were all actors. It was an actors community that I grew up in. And they had an actor who played Santa Claus at the mall in the city. So he looked the part and had the suit. So he came over the night before Christmas and played Santa Claus and dropped off toys. And then and did a whole song and dance like, I heard you've been a very special boy and your mom made a mistake. And, you know, she seems to think I'm not real. Well, she's just wrong. I forget what he said. But like, I heard you're a very special boy. I wanted to come the day before Christmas and give you this special present. And I'm going to have a whole bunch of stuff ready for you tomorrow morning, but I got to go back. Did the whole song and dance. And then I woke up to fucking 50 presents. They bought every little knick-knacky cheap shit thing and wrapped it individually and I had like 2 main presents and then 50 little dinky shit presents that were overcompensated. The 2 days before Christmas, they went and bought everything. And so I woke up to just a living room floor covered in toys and they were like, how could we have possibly afforded all of these things? Santa Claus must be real. How could we have wrapped all these things? Santa Claus must be real.
Good for them, man.
And they did the thing. So you can overcompensate. And I was like, oh shit, because you're 5, magic is still real, and if you work hard enough, you can be like, look, that was for example, that ride is one of those rides that's a gag, but there are real spaceships that go to space. Here's the astronauts. They fly up there. How do they float? Because they're in space. So there are ships that are games and there are ships that aren't, and then you take her on one that's another ship. And be like, that last one that you saw was a game, but this next one's a new one in Disneyland, and this one's real. So check it out.
Well,
the other thing that may not work, but it's an idea.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing too that I was thinking about doing was, and again, it would be like just being flat out lying, and I would tell her, but then and see, that's where I'm torn on this stuff, man.
Lie to your kid.
Yeah, I know.
Do you tell her that she's capable of anything and the world will open up at her whim and everything's possible and the world is a magical place where people don't get hurt? So then fucking be...
I tell her if anybody tells you can be anything, they're lying to you.
Yeah. You can be 3 things. You can be 5 things maybe.
No, and I go, you're incredibly talented. I'm like, you're an incredibly smart kid. You're a funny kid. You're a beautiful kid. You've got a lot of stuff going for you. But yeah, there's going to be some things you can't do. Yeah. You can't be a 7-foot tall black man in the NBA. That's not possible. I'm sorry. Yeah. Like, that's just one of those, situations that you can't. Mm-hmm. Now, if you still want to play in the NBA, hey, go for it. We'll support you, and we're going to do whatever we can. But you're going to have limitations based on physicality. Yeah. So that, I'm as honest with her in that aspect. But for this one, the one thing I was thinking of doing is telling her that the ride that she saw that broke down was a test run to test the equipment.
Oh, yeah. Perfect.
And that the actual ride does go into space.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's good, actually.
That might work?
Yeah. And then be like,
but then again, by the time we get to Disneyland with COVID, she might be in her 30s. Like, who knows?
Yeah, it's kind of, that's the tough thing is like the situation and the kid, the disposition of the kid, how old they are. The reality that kids are good. I never thought I'd be having a conversation with my kid where I'm like, no, baby, we can't do that thing. And the kid looks up and goes, because of the virus? And I'm like, yeah, baby, because of the virus. We can't go to that indoor play park. Because of the virus. I really want to. Can we go? No. Why? Because of the virus, Daddy? Again, the virus? I'm like, what the fuck is this world?
It's unfortunate. Like, kids are it's a completely different world for them, man. Yeah. And we're having to cope and trying to figure out how to best guide them through it. Yeah. And the one thing that I want is I'm going to support my kid in every damn thing that she's going to do. But I also want something to be realistic. Yeah.
You know what I like it? But the one thing that COVID has brought is there's elements of we are one unified nature with that COVID is now, it transcends gender, inequality, race, religion. It is the go-to excuse for when you can't get there. COVID, I'm sorry, I couldn't make it to school on time. Shit happens, COVID. Oh, the car broke down, COVID. Couldn't get it fixed in time, COVID. Everything. Yeah. You can fucking blame COVID on anything. Couldn't ship the merch in time, COVID. I learned that one was legit. When people started calling and said, there was like 2 people out of 150, 200 people that were like, oh, the merch is a couple of days late. And I'm like, yeah, it's on the way. Here's the tracking number. COVID. And then it's like, you can blame you. I could have said anything, but they just accepted it. They accepted it. They go, okay, cool.
That is
fair
happening
enough.
here in the States. It's not
Yeah.
really COVID though, but I mean, our mail system. We don't go too deep into this, but I mean, our whole mail system is hosed right now because the president is against the mail system, and he doesn't want mail-in voting, and it's what's going to happen with the election coming up. So I mean, if they were in the States, it could have just been all that crap that was.
It
going
was.
on. But
Yeah,
anyway,
it was.
So here we go.
Anyway,
so
onward and
I got
upward.
one more. I got one more thing here for this.
We're
podcast.
crushing time, by the way. You literally moved to the third question at exactly 20 minutes. Crushing it. Go.
I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good.
So
They pay me for this
some
shit.
stories that I've seen that keep popping up, and this is in our show prep last week for the morning show. And for some strange reason, people first of all, what's your thoughts on Nickelback?
Why?
Because that's one of the articles that keeps popping up is people for some strange reason have been posting 10 bands to hate more than Nickelback.
Oh, that's fucked. I thought it was going to be Nickelback is in one of the most 10 hated bands, but like they're the number one without even question to hate more than Nickelback. Like,
I mean, did you ever hear that or see that Facebook meme that was going around? I think it was probably 10 years ago, right around when Facebook first started, and it was like, vote for this pickle over Nickelback. And it was a poll, and it was just a pickle and Nickelback. And it was people who just, for some reason, I mean, I understand why people hate Nickelback because they do cross so many genres.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, songs like Photograph, it's like, really? Like, that song sucks, man. But I don't understand the hate. And if you've ever seen them live, I guarantee anybody who's ever said anything bad about Nickelback would completely take it away because they shred live, man.
Oh, they're amazing.
Like, they put on a hell of a show.
they're amazing. They're amazing.
So what are your thoughts?
I got a
there.
different opinion. Okay, we're going to talk about this for the next 10 minutes, right? Because I got mad opinions, and my opinions may change other people's opinions. I went on tour with them twice, right? So I've got a different perspective. I didn't hate or I didn't hate or love Nickelback. They were what they are to most people, which is they're part of the fucking ethos. You know a Nickelback song. You know several. Mm-hmm. Like you just do. And I went on tour with them, and the first thing I thought when I went on tour was, what a great opportunity. Fucking biggest band in the world, and I'm opening for the biggest band in the world on the North American tour after their multi-platinum record. Fucking great, right? Then when we got on tour, they made a point of coming to the dressing room on the first day of tour, and they would hang out during the tour as well, but they would always make a point to come to the dressing room and welcome you to the tour. And it was my first, it was tripolar, so it was my first arena tour, and I took that tip from the band, and I was like, every time we go on tour as a headliner, we're going to go out, we're going to take out the bands for drinks and hang out and welcome them to the tour. Creates a great vibe. They also gave gifts at the end of the tour. I got a set of Bose noise-canceling headphones. Every band member got one. That was like, hey, thanks for being on the tour. I mean, they're made of money. They're making $1 million a night.
Yeah.
So like they spread it around. They would give these massive end of tour gifts. Like they would drop a couple of $100,000 worth of gifts for the entire tour crew. Everyone got an expensive gift. So, and they had like a 200-person crew, right? Mm-hmm. Anyway, so when we're touring with them, then I started to watch the shows, and it's just a fucking well-oiled machine. He doesn't really hit a bum note. He doesn't. He is that fucking good. Like, he's just that fucking good. And I remember the only point of contention came up one time was when I spoke to their manager, and he was in a bit of a mood. And I was like, hey, what's up? And he was like, I don't fucking get it. He was like, I'm used to it sort of, but then sometimes, like, there's this review of the tour came up, like we played New York City and a big review, Nickelback in Madison Square Garden, whatever the fuck it was. And he was like, it's one of the best shows of the year, sold out months in advance. Someone came to the show and just took a dump on the show. Like, they just decided to write a crappy review about the show because it's Nickelback. And he was like, what the fuck does this band have to do to get some respect? They've got more hits than everyone else. They sell more tickets. They generate more money. They're generous. They're really nice guys. Everything's right about the band. Why? Is it because they're not dangerous enough, or there's no drama and drug addiction bullshit? Like, what the fuck do people want? And
people got to hate what's on top.
Yeah, and that's really it. And the thing that I liked about Chad is that Chad could give a fuck what anyone thinks. He doesn't give a fuck. I remember seeing a conversation with him regarding Slipknot, because Slipknot had a thing where they posted like, yeah, we don't respect Nickelback, big deal, and who really like Corey Taylor, mad respect for Corey Taylor, but no one cares what you think about fucking Nickelback. So
his problem is because they were both on Roadrunner Records.
Oh, he's got political business reasons for not liking him.
And it was, I mean, if this is the same timeline, Corey had a problem with Nickelback because they were on the same label. He felt that Nickelback got the label's money when Slipknot wasn't getting any of it.
Yeah.
And he was talking about how, well, yeah, if you want to, he's like, it's easy to write a catchy song, but give me some real music is kind of what Corey Taylor was saying.
Yeah. And the funny thing is Nickelback's rebuttal, Chad's rebuttal was, write some hits. and it's like, you can't argue with it. He was like, I write hit songs that just stand up to repeat listens on multiple formats. Like,
fuck,
and then,
dude, have you heard the new Corey Taylor song, Black Eyes Blue?
Black Eyes Blue?
Black Eyes Blue.
Black Eyes Blue, no.
Oh, fuck, it's a good song.
Oh,
dude.
okay, I gotta check it out.
I mean, it's a really good song.
Yeah, I'm sure. No, his songs with that's the funny thing. Like, Slipknot has a couple of regular listening songs on the radio now because they have a couple of those songs. But for the catalog that they have so many more songs versus hits than like Stone Sour. There's at least one song in regular rotation from every Stone Sour album now. Because those songs are poppier. They're poppier, catchier songs. Because Corey's a great songwriter, but Slipknot doesn't have those types of hits. They're a different type of band. And whenever someone comes at Chad from Nickelback, Chad's like, why? I understand it, but he's like, I don't care what anyone thinks. I've got more hits than everyone combined. Every song I release for 15 years was a #1 hit. And so, of course, they're going to hate him because you don't have anything, no one has really anything positive to say. He's a nice guy that's really successful, that writes hits, that shares the love. What can you talk about? I understand now why people kind of hate on the band because they're untouchable.
Yeah.
They're really untouchable. And
so
that's the thing.
Yeah,
I don't listen to Nickelback on the regular, but when it comes on, I don't switch it off. And I'm like, yeah, people call it a guilty pleasure music. It was kind of the Bon Jovi of the 2010s. And that's just what it is. It is. And it's that sort of pop rock music. But that's what it is. If you want to listen to Nickelback and you're expecting some sort of deep, dark, Breaking Benjamin, ethereal, I'm an artist, I'm depressed and I'm like crying out for help. That's what Ben does. That's his jam. That's who he is. He's honest to himself. Chad does a different thing. You just fucking take it for what it is. Those are the songs he writes. I think people look at Nickelback and they're like, well, if it's rocks, it should be a bit angsty. I'm like, then go and listen to that shit. Put on some fucking 3 Days Grace or some Nirvana or whatever. Don't listen to Nickelback.
So speaking of Nirvana, they have made one of these lists.
Oh, okay.
Because there's a list here of, this one actually comes from Rolling Stone. And this is an older list, though. This one I clicked on. This one's from like 7 years old. This one's from 2013. But it has just the 10 bands. What's the title of it here? 10 worst bands of the 90s is this one. And this was a readers poll that they did. And so and this is specifically of the 90s. So #1 on the list, Creed.
Yeah, I'll pay that. Yep.
You don't like Creed?
No.
No, I mean, you don't have to. I mean, you can be completely honest.
I
don't mind Creed.
I love Tremonti and I love the band, and I just could never get behind Creed. And you know what? That's perfectly fine. I mean, there's a few songs I'll listen to. I do really like Scott Stapp. We've been able to interview him a few different times, and every time he's been hilarious. And he makes fun of himself. That's like he needs to.
He tells a joke about his son, where like his son is in the kitchen and he's asking like, "Can I have a cookie or something?" And his son would mimic his dad singing. Dad, can I have this cookie? Like that. And he did that for us. And I was like, dude, this guy's great.
Yeah.
So, I mean, again, one of the reasons I think they got so much hate too, they were kind of like Nickelback. They were machines,
They were
man.
100% like Nickelback. I think the only reason that Creed got more fucking hate than Nickelback was because Creed came out after Nickelback and followed the exact same fucking formula. Like all their songs were
Creed
the same.
was before Nickelback.
Creed was before Nickelback?
I believe so, yeah.
You
I think
sure?
their first album was earlier. Let me look.
You're talking about the first massive hit. I'm talking about like, was How You Remind Me came out before?
Way after. How You Remind Me was like 2005.
No, it wasn't 2005. Wasn't 2005. It was like 2001,
Creed's
2002.
big hits were all 90s albums.
Maybe I flipped it.
see.
Maybe I flipped it. Or maybe Creed, you know what might have happened? Creed, I know what happened. Creed made it over to Australia
tell me what
later.
happened.
No,
I don't want Creed the movie.
remember
I want Creed the band.
I've told you about how like Alice in Chains didn't make it to Australia and Journey didn't make it to Australia. I don't think Creed made it over to Australia until later. So we didn't hear their music in Australia until after Nickelback had happened. And it might have been because they were a Christian band. Because Creed was known as a Christian band. That might have been why in Australia there's no, like, you had to, if you were a Christian band, they just were like, well, it's not for radio then, it's Christian. Even though they were massive on the radio.
I always remembered when they first came out. Oh, How You Remind Me was 2001. I was thinking of their 2005 on 2001. That was Silver
How You
Side
Remind Me.
Up.
So when was Arms Wide Open?
Creed was 90s.
You sure? Well, I mean, I know that their first album.
The one thing about Creed that always bothered me is it always seemed like My Own Prison, which and Human Clay, it was 97 and 99.
Oh, okay.
That it always felt like
right.
he was trying to be Eddie Vedder when he was singing.
Yeah, well, everyone was trying to be Eddie Vedder in the fucking late 90s, dude. Unless you were Smashing Pumpkins, where you went the opposite direction.
Yeah, but Pumpkins were around even in mid to early 90s. So I mean, they were kind of around during that original movement.
Dude,
but anyway,
everyone who came out, like, literally name a fucking band. Every second band that came out after Pearl Jam and Alice in Chains sounded like those bands. I fucking sounded like Eddie Vedder until 98, 99, when I discovered Incubus. I discovered Incubus in about 98. I know they were around for a lot longer than that, but like I said, bands, it takes a while to get to Australia. So in 98, I discovered Incubus, and then I was like, oh, there's a different way to sing that I really like. And then I started to mimic Brandon Boyd a lot. But for the first, 3 years of writing songs and singing songs, there's actually... So, shameless plug. I've got a Patreon now, and one of the tiers on Patreon, for the highest tier of Patreon, is that you get access to my vault, which is my old demos, and you can hear my progression as a singer and songwriter. And the first couple of years worth of songs are so bad, so painful, of just singing like this. But it's not even a strong,
really?
It's not even a strong, powerful voice like, yeah, I'll sing it like this. It's more like, I think I'm supposed to be singing, but it's got a little bit like this, yeah. But it's whispery and fucking pathetic and lame. And I hear it and I'm like, oh god, because I only just started
another
singing
album doing that, man.
Yeah, you think so? That's what I'm missing. That's what I'm missing.
No,
but those
not at
songs are
all,
going to be up
actually.
on the Patreon. So those are up on the Patreon, and then I've got my first vault party is tomorrow, where I'm playing unreleased music that probably will never get released, and some of the songs have that type of vibe as well.
Oh, there you go.
It's like a listening party for hardcore fans that want to hear stuff that no one else is ever going to hear. So it's
that's
where it happens.
Here, let me go through some of these other bands. Let me cycle through this here. We've got Limp Bizkit also on this list.
You can't hate Limp Bizkit.
Hanson. I'm not sure. I mean,
fucking Hanson was awesome. Hanson was
joking,
awesome.
right?
No, Hanson is the Creed of pop music. They are so amazing.
I remember when they came out. Fuck, there was a class that I had. I think I was a junior in high school, and I must have shared a desk with a girl who was the biggest goddamn Hanson fan.
Yeah.
Because when I would show up for class, every goddamn day she had drawn on the desk whatever the hell her name was, and Hanson and hearts, and she wrote all the goddamn people's names, and it was every day there was something new. It's like the cleaning crew would come in, they would clean this desk off, and the next fucking day she would write something new every single time. Yeah. Goddamn Hanson. Hanson sucks.
I had a friend who I went to outside school class. So she wasn't in my school. She was in my extracurricular school activities. And we sort of like, when you're like 13 and we're like, maybe we should have a crush on each other and kiss behind the fucking whatever. And then I went over to her house one time, and her fucking bedroom was just wall-to-wall Hanson posters. It was like you walked into a parallel universe. But it was top to bottom Hanson. Like, you look around and it's just, there's no wall left. There's nothing but fucking Hanson. And I immediately got scared. I was like, this feels like she's a psycho. Like, I thought I was going to be into this chick, and now I'm like, I need to get the fuck out of here. She was total psycho. And that's what my memory of Hanson. But the thing about Hanson, I remember meeting, I wish I could remember the guitar player's name, but I met the guitar player one time after a show. We were playing some club in the middle of fucking, in some It was like in Milwaukee, because I think that's where they're from and they still live
Wait,
there.
the Hanson guitar player?
Yeah, the Hanson guitar player. I think his name was Chris or something. A really nice guy, like so fucking nice. And I unfortunately don't remember much of the conversation because I was really drunk. So it was this shitty little club gig that not many people came out to, but for some reason the guitar player from Hanson was a fan of the Puppies. And he actually came to the show. He came to the show with a buddy of his, or I was introduced to him through a guy that worked at the club or whatever. But by the time everything had packed up and I'd finished signing merch and it was like, cool, we're here to hang out and the guitar player would like to meet you, and I had a drink with him at the bar. But I was already half fucking lit because it's like after the show, after the merch, you've pounded a few drinks, you're on tour, let's go. And I don't remember much of the conversation, but he was a really nice guy and we just talked about playing guitar and being in successful bands. And he was like, I said, so what are you guys doing now? And the one thing I do remember from the conversation was he was like, dude, we're doing the same thing. We're doing the same thing we were doing 10 years ago. Same fucking thing. And I said, oh, cool. Like, and I didn't say like, oh, I haven't heard any of your music. I was like, oh, cool. So it's going great. Like, yeah, when's your next one coming out? He said, oh, 6 months. But he said, we're out of our deal now. We're making 10 times more money than like every kid. And he literally was like, every teenage girl who had our shit posted on their walls, they're in their 20s now and they got jobs and we don't have a label. So we've got we've got the mailing list and we've got, our socials. We don't advertise. Like if you haven't heard of our records, it's because we don't care. We're not advertising to you. We've got 30 million women who used to be in love with our band. We just sell our shit to them and they love it. They come out, they sing the old songs, we play two or three.
Isaac?
Yeah, Isaac, that's it. Yep, that's it.
Because I think he's the older brother.
Yep. Yeah,
he's I got their Wikipedia right here. You got Isaac, and then there was Taylor, and then you have Zach.
Yeah.
And Zach was the little drummer guy.
Yeah, they're another band that's like the pop version of Nickelback that, like, if you're a pop band, you just fucking hate them because they're like, oh, well, you just released one single and dominated the whole world, and now you don't have to answer to anyone. You can write your own ticket for the rest of your career, and you're amazing songwriters, and you play all these instruments, and you sing in perfect 3-part harmony, and you don't need anyone. And people just look at them like, dude, fuck you. Just fuck you. Like,
no, I don't like them because Mbop.
I
love of Christ.
Love Mbop. I love how perfectly fucking cheesy it is. It's a perfect pop song. I love that you can't understand. Now you're dead to me. You can't understand any of his fucking words. You can't understand a shit fucking thing that guy is singing the whole time. There's someone nothing to see. Swear to God, there's so many reasons in this life. I want to change.
We gotta wrap up this episode because you got to go do the.
I'm late for a lockdown session.
So when you do the lockdown session,
starting now.
You had better sing like that, Hanson. Even just for a little bit during the lockdown session.
Feel it in my plums.
So on that note, as we wrap up this episode of Rockstar 101, you can always follow Shim if you would like to check out the lockdown sessions. You can follow any of the ones that have already been done or watch them live. Just go to twitch.tv/Hollywood Rebellion. That's where you can find him for that stuff. He's got his Twitter. It's at Shimmoore, SHIMMOORE. You can follow him also on Facebook. It is just Shim, SHIM. And you can also go follow me on either Instagram or over on Reddit. It is at The Real Brandalorian. Hence the reason my code for the beard struggle is Brandalorian. If you notice the beard looking... I did just trim it up a little bit too. I mean, seriously, if you want to use some of the best damn products for your beard, ladies, if you're looking for something for your guys, go purchase stuff at The Beard Struggle and use Brandalorian at checkout and you get yourself a nice little discount there. And a big special thanks to our latest supporter, Veronica Flores. And if you want to be a supporter, if you're watching this on YouTube, click below and you can find the link right there, or just go to anchor.fm/Rockstar101. On that note, anything else, Shim?
Nope. His name is Brandon. He is the DJ.
His name is Shim. He is the Rockstar. Class dismissed.
Boom.